HorrorCast.
Come on, rise and shine, Cupcake, you know the drill.
Hey, this is Dena.
This is Tony.
And welcome to this episode of the HorrorCast for July 2012, your podcast for all things horror-related. This is a part where we normally give a little update on whatever videos we've done recently, just to kind of warm up, but I haven't really done any videos recently. Life has just kind of gotten in the way.
I got a couple of interviews coming up soon. I won't say who just yet because I want to keep that. I want to keep that a bit of a mystery. But I am going to go ahead and throw it out there that I will be at MagFest once again. Not this year, but next year because it already happened this year. But
January. It's confusing that it's in January. You keep thinking like.
Yeah.
The last one was last year, but it was actually this year.
Yeah. So yeah, I will be at MagFest yet again next year, and hopefully my boss can be up there this time. Because
I was about to say I probably won't be at MagFest next year. I mean, I hope I can, but I don't know. Things kind of aren't looking too good right now financially.
I will say you were sorely missed.
Oh, I sorely missed being there.
Yeah. Also, before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to a person that I met at MagFest this year. And, you know, turns out he's got a very good review show of his own. Count Jackula of the Count Jackula Show, where bad movies stalk the night. That's his actual tagline. Very good, very cool tagline, I might add. Count Jackula, very cool dude. Like I said, met the guy at MagFest. Just really awesome to hang out with, and you know, check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff.
Okay, that said, we're just gonna get right into it. We've got Silent Hill stuff, Stephen King, and horror remakes to talk about.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a horror cast without talking about Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill and Stephen King, it doesn't get much better than that.
Exactly.
So here's a fun fact. According to Wikipedia, as of 2011, Stephen King has written and published 49 novels, including 7 under the pen name Richard Bachman, 5 nonfiction books, and 9 collections of short stories. And here's a quick, I know, that's quite a resume he's got going.
Yeah.
And here's a quick list of some Stephen King adaptations that I keep hearing are being worked on. Pet Sematary, It, Carrie, apparently The Stand, I just read about that one on Wikipedia last night. All of these have already been made into movies, 2 of which were TV miniseries, but still. This is how bad this whole fad of remaking horror movies has gotten. If someone wanted to make an adaptation of a Stephen King story, they'd have about 63 of them to choose from, but instead they picked the handful that have already been done.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Okay. Anybody that knows me knows that I have a strong distaste for movie remakes. I think it shows a supreme lack of creativity.
Yeah.
Probably, it's like I've always said, the only movie remake that I think was even in some ways fundamentally justified was Peter Jackson's King Kong, and that was strictly for the technological advances.
Yeah, exactly. And at least in that case, you know, the original movie came out in like the 30s, so it's kind of reasonable to remake that one. It's not like 10 to 15 years old.
Yeah, and it's like you go, ooh, yeah, I just, yeah.
We hit a nerve.
Yeah, that's a dick move, man.
It's a dick move.
Exactly. But here's the messed up part. They already this will be the 3rd time Carrie's been made.
I was just about to say that. Carrie's the one that really gets me because it's already been remade twice if you count the musical stage play.
There's a musical of Carrie.
You didn't know about that?
Oh my damn.
It's infamous. Apparently it's terrible.
Wait, are we talking like worse than musical Spider-Man? Bad or
musical Spider-Man? I don't even...
Spider-Man the musical? Yeah.
I've never heard of this. Oh
my god! Oh, you poor thing. Oh, it is so bad it's good.
Yeah, some people think that about the Carrie musical, apparently. So anyway, Yeah, we'll be seeing a 5th iteration of this story. I mean, how many different ways can you handle the story of a girl with telekinetic powers who gets a huge prank pulled on her and takes bloody vengeance? It's a good story and all, but it's not so mind-blowingly complex that we need to see 10,000 versions to understand it properly.
That's not even including the crappy sequel either.
Oh, right, The Rage. I forgot about that.
Yeah, everybody forgot about that one. But yeah, Carrie is like the, if you will pardon the expression, the poster child for overabundance of remakes, because this would have been, like you said, like the 4th or 5th time that they've remade this film, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really getting bad.
Yeah, here's an idea. Why not? I know that this is unheard of in Hollywood, but why not try to make an original story? I know.
Or pick one of the other, 60-something stories that Stephen King has written and do an adaptation of that.
Yeah. Now, okay, this is also a bit of a catch-22 for me, because my favorite... I just found out a couple of years ago that my favorite movie... One of my favorite movies of all time is the version that I absolutely love is a remake. I am of course referring to Scarface. And little did I know that was actually made. It's a remake, probably mostly in name only. From what I've found out, it's a remake of a 1955 movie, somewhere in the 50s, I think, during the Prohibition era. And the whenever Prohibition was, and the whole thing, yeah, history buff here, folks. But the theme, obviously, of that Scarface was not of massive amounts of cocaine, but of alcohol. And I didn't know that until I got the super ooper duper version of Scarface with the umpteen thousand discs, and watched one of the special features, and just like they were talking about how to edit it for television, and just makes it sound hysterically awful. And it's like not many people know this, but Scarface is a remake, and it just blew my mind. It was just like everything I stand for, I am now a hypocrite. But to that I say, screw you. Scarface is awesome. So
there you go.
Yeah. That is the one. Scarface is the one exception to the rule. No, that and King Kong, they are the exceptions, because they are made of awesome. So.
Well, see, it's not that remakes are inherently bad. It's just that there are so many lately. But but this horror remake craze in general is really getting to me. Lately, I've been finding horror movies from the 80s that I used to like but haven't seen in ages and revisiting them on Netflix. And just recently I watched The Gate. I don't know how many people remember that one, but basically it centers on these 3 kids, and it's almost a kids adventure type movie, but with just enough horror elements that it's at least a borderline horror movie.
Yeah. It's
definitely too intense for kids, I think. But the story and characters aren't that great, but the special effects and the ambiance are just fantastic for its time. And it's a fun movie, and I recommend it for those reasons. So, after watching The Gate, I went to look at the Wikipedia article just to see if there was anything interesting about it that I didn't know. And in the little table of contents, I see remake. And I'm like, God, not this one too. And sure enough, there's a remake in the works. And I can kind of understand it with this one because, like I said, the characters basically suck. And that could stand to be improved on. And supposedly they have H.R. Geiger designing the demons. And I guess I should be excited about that. But it's like we can't just appreciate anything that's over a decade old anymore. We can't look back at the practical effects and think, wow, that looks awesome for considering what they had to work with. It's like Hollywood must just look at these movies and go, wow, that looks so archaic. Let's do it again with CG. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter that maybe the actors did a great job or the ambiance or the direction was just right and they'll never recapture that. It's like, it's old, let's fix it. And, H.R. Geiger could probably technically do a better design, but I don't care. I love that giant demon at the end of the gate, and I don't want to see it messed around with.
Well, you gotta also consider that we also live in the last few generations that are like, oh, if it's in black and white, I don't want to watch it. So
yeah.
that type of mentality is really just unfortunate. Because
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, like I will not. Okay, I will be the first one to say this. I used to be in that cliche of stupid people that thought that, oh, if it's in black and white, it's shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was that
Not-
way too. I think
yeah.
everybody was that way at some point, much as, no one would want to admit it, probably.
Yeah, and ironically, okay, this makes no sense. I realize this, but the one movie that got me into liking black and white movies, it was Clerks. It was just like, okay, well, this was shot fairly recent, and it's in black and white, and it's funny. I enjoy it. And then I went from that to Nosferatu, and that was a big gap. So
Yeah,
it's
I was
just
about to say, that's quite a jump there.
yeah, you go from like 1990s movies to 1920s silent films, and now like Nosferatu was like in my top 5 most favorite movies of all time. Just not top 5 horror movies, just top 5 movies in general. Just because it's like, even as a silent film, it's creepy as hell.
I have not seen Nosferatu yet.
Oh,
I keep planning on seeing it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
But, some other movies I've heard about being remade are Child's Play and Hellraiser. I think that one's been shelved, at least, but who knows. But that pretty much covers what I consider to be the classics, like all the horror movies I fell in love with during that time when I was first getting into horror movies. Within the next few years, nearly all of them will be remade, and I think that just leaves like Jaws and Little Shop of Horrors, and that'll be it. That just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And, it's because I know someone's probably going to say this in the comments, someone always tries to defend horror remakes by pointing out that it's nothing new. And I'm aware of that. I mean, one of my favorite movies is Cronenberg's version of The Fly. But it wasn't until these last few years that it's become so common that it seems like that's all that's coming out anymore.
Now, I will say, I wouldn't necessarily consider this a remake, but the newest Hellraiser movie, that should never have seen the light of day.
I forgot about that sequel.
Yeah. I think everybody wants to forget. Well, see, first off, the guy that played Pinhead is not the original. I mean, you can't have. I forget his name.
Doug Bradley.
Yeah, you cannot have Hellraiser without Doug Bradley, or at least somebody that Doug Bradley, signs off on. Like this guy is good enough to play my character, and they didn't do that. It's Dimension Film, so what do you expect? And it's just, I saw the trailer for it, well, half of it, because it was so stupid I couldn't even sit through a 2-minute trailer without getting, it's just like, no.
I think I just saw a picture of what Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head? Somebody's projecting!
It's all Konami's fault. I can't stop thinking about Pyramid Head. Anyway, what was I even gonna say? Oh yeah, I think I just saw a picture of Pinhead in his makeup, and it looked awful. Even his makeup looked bad.
Yeah, that's bad. When in 2012, the makeup looks worse than a movie that was made in the 90s.
Yeah.
20 years of movie technology makeup advancing, and it looks worse. That does not compute.
Yeah, really.
I will say this though: if they like Nosferatu is like my favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies, and if they ever go back and remake Nosferatu, I will kill somebody. So, I mean, not even like in Dracula or whatever. Like, if they specifically see the 1920s silent film Nosferatu and say, "Yeah, let's remake that," I will fly to Hollywood, and go on a fucking rampage. Because I mean, there's just some classics you don't fuck with. Nosferatu is one of them, and that's all. That's all I say.
Well, it wasn't exactly a remake, but I know there was a movie made that sort of took place behind the scenes.
Yeah, Shadow of the Vampire.
That was it. So I guess that
was incredible. It like the whole premise of it was it's a fictional thing about the behind the scenes, with the one thing of the vampire being played by an actual vampire, which that was actually pretty cool. And
I have not seen. That's another one of those movies I keep meaning to see and haven't yet.
One of the reasons I have one reason why that movie holds a special place in my heart is that Eddie, it's like my favorite comedian, Eddie Izzard, is in it, and he is awesome. He is wonderful. But other than that, it's okay.
Okay, so we take, when we record this, I edit it out, of course, we take little breaks in between segments, and Tony started talking about something really interesting, so you're going to repeat all that right now.
Okay. Well, I recently watched both seasons of AMC's The Walking Dead. And if you have not, I highly recommend it. The first season's only about six episodes, but they're like ungodly expensive. There's a whole other thing about that. But the reason why it is one that I heartfully suggest you go watch is that one of my friends is actually in the show, and no, not as a zombie. He's not like Zombie 503 or whatever. He plays an actual character with speaking parts that are more than just brains. My friend Adam Minarovich, yes, that's his actual name. He plays the character of Ed on the first season. He is on there for the first 4 episodes. Well, he's in there for at least 3 episodes of season 1, and he has a brief appearance in a flashback on season 2. This guy is really fucking awesome. Not at all like he's portrayed in the show, obviously, because on the show he's the stereotypical Southern cigarette smoking asshole who beats his wife and then gets the shit beat out of him. Spoilers. But he literally runs a cell phone and computer shop literally down the road from me, and he is a very talented filmmaker in his own right. He's actually had a couple of movies actually get distributed. One was picked up by Troma, although that's probably not all that hard. If you ever go to Troma, look up a movie called Wise Guys versus Zombies. It sounds exactly like it's mafia. It's mafia guys versus zombies. That's the entire plot. And it is. Yes, it is one of those movies that is so bad it's good, and I mean that in the best possible way. So, Adam Minarovich, or just look on IMDb and just look Walking Dead, and he was on there for like 4 episodes. Also, Walking Dead, check it out if you haven't. Excellent show. Anybody that says, okay, I've had a lot of people tell me before I watched it that season 2 gets boring. The hell it does. Season 2, I mean, it goes on longer. It drags out a little bit. I will admit, but it is far from boring. So yeah, there's that.
I have not actually seen it yet. One of those shows I keep meaning to watch, but I do have it on Netflix, and I'm gonna watch it at some point.
You can pick up the first season now on DVD. Shameless plug. So.
Or you could be like me and add it on Netflix.
Yeah.
But no, but that's awesome though, because you started telling me I know a guy who was on The Walking Dead. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like episode 2, 35 minutes in, you see his arm in the background or something like that. But he actually, even if it's like maybe not a lot of screen time, he apparently plays like a memorable character.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
And I will put this out right now. As soon as I should be getting a new camcorder in early next month, and when I do, that's the first thing I'm going to do is track down Adam and have an on-camera interview and discuss the awesomeness of working on the Walking Dead set. So
That is awesome.
yes.
So, Silent Hill HD Collection and Silent Hill Downpour came out in March of this year. I eventually got to play both. Long story short, I could basically only afford one, so I went with HD Collection. I figured that was the safe one, because I already knew I liked Silent Hill 2 and 3, and I didn't know if I was going to like Downpour. Plus, I spent so much time trying to help spread the word about getting the original voices into the game. It just seemed like the obvious choice at the time. And I just figured there's no way they could screw this up. I figured even if it's not that much of an improvement, graphics wise, on the original game, it'll at least be as good. I was so wrong. From what I gather, it's buggy as hell. I haven't come across anything game-breaking myself, just a couple little visual glitches. Like when you save the game for the first time, it flickers back and forth between the save screen and the game a couple times really fast. And apparently one problem with the PS3 version is that there's some lag in the beginning of the infamous Pyramid Head rape scene, which made people think that it was edited out to censor it. I didn't have that problem with my Xbox 360 version, though. There's one image that's been circulating on Facebook that shows Maria from a cutscene where the texture for her teeth was replacing the texture of her right eye, and it looks like there are teeth in her eye socket.
Oh my god!
It's really messed up looking.
Okay, I kind of want to see that now.
I figured you had by now. I keep seeing it all over the place. But I came across a text interview with Tom Hewlett on OneUp.com that explains the reason for the glitches, and it's pretty funny. Quote, "We got all the source code that Konami had on file, which it turns out wasn't the final release version of the games.
What?
Says Hewlett. So during debug, we didn't just have to deal with the expected porting bugs, but also had to squash some bugs that the original team obviously removed prior to release that we'd never seen before." Way to go.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The final source code for the game was not the final version of what was released.
Basically, yeah. They ended up with an early version of the source code.
Way to go, Konami.
Yeah, that was an epic fail there.
Would that qualify for a dick move? I'm not entirely. I would call that as an unintentional dick move.
I was about to say that's an accidental dick move.
But a dick move nonetheless.
So yeah, I ended up wishing I'd gotten Downpour instead, especially after I eventually played it and loved the hell out of it. I don't think I want to get into that too much now, but because people kept asking me about it for a long time, I do recommend it. It's not the best in the series, obviously, and it's not even my favorite post-Team Silent game. That'd be Shattered Memories, but it is a big improvement over Origins and Homecoming at least, so I do think it's pretty good. Yeah, the series isn't what it once was, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve to be enjoyed. It's still fun, it still catches me off guard and makes me think, and it's still Silent Hill. Yeah. So.
See, okay, this is the one issue that I have with the re-releases of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am thrilled with the fact that, Silent Hills 2 and 3, although why they couldn't have ported the first 3 over, I still don't understand. But it's just like, hey, if you're going to do HD remakes, quote-unquote, in large air quotations, the first one needs it the most. But,
yeah, really.
But, and by the way, 2 games does not equal a collection.
Yeah, good point.
2 games.
At least could have put 4 in there.
Yeah, 2 games is just a 2-pack. that does not constitute a collect. Okay, anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here. But this is the issue that I have with a lot of the quote-unquote HD remakes.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that they're on current consoles. So if you're an achievement whore like myself, and you want to get all or most of the achievements for a game that you think should have an achievement for it, this is definitely your chance. The issue is, I do not have an HD television set. So when they release HD, remakes or re-releases, yeah, remake is kind of kind of the incorrect term. I would say a re-release. If you do an HD re-release of these games, if you do not have an HD television, other than for the fact to just have like Silent Hill 2 on your 360, for no other reason than for you wasted your money.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I will get it and play it in my standard definition glory, because it's fucking Silent Hill 2 and 3 and 3. Okay, let's not get up on that. 3 is in there too, but it's just the fact of I have a TV that's probably older than I am, and it's like. The fact is, like, it barely has it. It's just an act of God that it has the RCA hookups in the back. So, there ain't no way that I'm going to be able to see this in HD, and there's just no point in it. I don't think. Graphic updates, yes. HD re-release, no.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my complaints about it was going to be, well, I don't see any difference. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have an HD TV. That might be why.
Oh, and then they released a patch recently to where, like, ooh, they added more fog.
Silent Hill with a fog patch. That's...
Well, that was one of the
that's funny.
That was one of the quote unquote visual enhancement patches that came out recently. It was like there is now more fog in the streets. This is like
Maria still has teeth in her eye socket, but hey, more fog.
Yeah, so now you can only kind of see the teeth eye. So, but being the Silent Hill whore that I am, I will get it. I will enjoy it because it's fucking Silent Hill 2 and 3. Although Silent Hill 1 should have been in there as well, but
I think Amazon actually stopped selling it because there were so many complaints about all the bugs and everything.
Ow. Jesus.
Yeah, so you sure you could just rent it.
I owe too many late fees for my family video, so I couldn't even if I wanted.
Couldn't if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just be my typical Silent Hill horror self and just buy it on like online or something. It's just like here, I'll pay you to take this away from me. Like, okay, cool. But
yeah, there you go.
It's I'll be like, I have the Silent Hill HD collection. Have you played it? Never, but I got it.
There you go. So, there's one more Silent Hill related thing to talk about. Just recently, a clip was released from Silent Hill Revelations 3D. That title's such a mouthful. Actually, apparently there were 2 clips shown at Comic-Con, but only one of them ended up on the internet, and I'm just gonna let you talk for a while. Go nuts.
Okay. Alright. When I first heard about Silent Hill Revelation, I'm not even saying the fucking 3D part because I'm just like, it's Silent Hill Revelation. That was like when Saw 3D. Like, no, it's Saw 7. Okay, just, for fuck's sake. Okay, okay. So Silent Hill Revelation. The one thing I do when I first heard about this, I immediately did the largest, most violent facepalm that I could conjure, because the first one was so good.
And we've covered that territory before, I think.
Yeah, and I think in several podcasts.
I think probably every episode it comes up how much we hate the Silent Hill movie.
We might as well just rename this thing Silent Hill Cast and just bitch about Silent Hill stuff all the time. But okay, Silent Hill Revelation. First movie was That's about that's the nicest way I can describe it, is had some good few moments, and then Pyramid Head sells out. Just regular Pyramid Head type corporate stuff. imagine Pyramid Head in like a business suit doing now. It's just like, what will I appear in now? But
and you know, people in thick rimmed glasses saying, I liked Pyramid Head better before he sold out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are the fucking hipster Silent Hill fans. It's like I liked Pyramid Head back before he was cool, you know, or whatever.
Oh my god, I think we are pretty much hipster fans.
Sad.
Oh my god.
Oh god. But okay, this is the main issue that I have with Silent Hill Revelation. Nurses. Get them out. Okay.
I know, right? And what's the first clip they release? A scene involving the fucking nurses. Because that's new.
Now, okay, granted, the trailer that has been released with the infamous nurse trailer, I actually enjoyed that just for certain reasons, not because the nurses are there and exposing enough cleavage that they need a hairnet, but think about it just let that image sink in for a minute. But I'm sorry.
Just keep going.
Okay. But the main thing that really gets me was that you know, I enjoyed just the trailer itself, and for one thing, Adelaide Clemens, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right.
I'm guessing it's probably Adelaide. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I never heard that name before, but that just sounds right to me.
Yeah. Okay. Look, for all intents and purposes, her name is now Adelaide. Adelaide Clemens. She certainly looks the part. I will say that. And yes, I understand that, you know, they're not going to get every fucking thing right from Silent Hill. Because this is based off Silent Hill 3. For those that don't know, Silent Hill 3, direct sequel of Silent Hill 1. How that happens, I don't know how they work that chronology, but it works. But the guy that they cast for Vincent, Kit Harington, way too young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's pretty much just Vincent in name only. I think they're pretty much pulling the same shit they did with Dahlia in the first movie, which, like, why even call them that if it's not even really based on the character, but whatever.
Yeah, the guy that, okay, again, even, like, if there's nothing more than just clothes, he certainly wears something that I think Vincent would wear, but Vincent was not 17 years old in Silent Hill 3.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sorry, the guy just looks way too young. You know, there needs to be, you know, he has to have a more gruff appearance to him, and at least a few inches taller than Heather, for fuck's sake. It just looks like if Vincent were in high school, and this is what they think he would look like. And you know, for those that haven't seen the trailer, he's strapped to a gurney, and he's surrounded by a whole bunch of nurses, cleavage and all, and disfigured faces, because you know. And it's like every time he moves a hand or an arm or a leg, they move a little bit closer, like knives fully at the ready and everything. That in and of itself goes against kind of the Silent Hill thing, because the nurses do not wait for you to move in order for them to attack. They will just come at you. Which also raises another question: how the fuck do they know where you are? I just realized this. Like, just in talking, I realized their faces are stitched up. There's like no. How do they see where you're at to go after you?
To be fair, I think in the games it's sort of hinted at that. Well, most of the monsters in the games don't have eyes or even faces, so I think it's sort of hinted at that they follow the sound.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, they don't see very well because, in the games, a lot of times you can turn off your flashlight and sneak around them.
Yeah. But yeah, okay, so yeah, he tries to get out of the gurney, and then, Heather comes in, like, looking for, she's being like Harry was in the first one, like, I'm looking for my dad. Have you seen a middle-aged man walking around here? Tall,
short hair.
tall, short brown hair. But he's just like, yeah, your dad's at such and such. It's like, help me out here and I can get you in. It's like, okay, so fine. So she hurries up and gets him out and everything. And the nurses kind of pop and lock their way towards them. Which really, that's what it looks like. It looks like they're popping and locking, like fucking break dancers, over to them. I'm almost expecting some really bad 80s dance music to go off.
Cause this is thriller.
Exactly. No, I said bad 80s pop music. Really?
Sorry, I didn't hear the word bad.
Yeah, I'm expecting the theme from Breaking 2 to start up. But so they make it to the they make it to the elevator. It closes, and then it's like Silent Hill Revelation 3D. Whatever.
You forgot the part where the freaking gurney topples over in slow
yeah.
motion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
cheesy.
Yeah, and they had like what I can only call gurney view, where it all of a sudden. Okay, Heather gets all of his limbs free except for one. Vincent, in his infinite wisdom, decided to go ahead and roll the gurney over, and it automatically switches to gurney cam, where you
gurney cam,
where you see it, where the camera is fixed onto the gurney and it falls over with it, and again, that's. I actually kind of liked it because it's a cheesy shot, yes, but it's a fun cheesy shot, and I like stuff like that. So anyway, they get him free, then they go to the elevator, then it closes like Silent Hill Revelation 3D.
You just have to add that every time, don't you?
Yes, I do. Everything with just the word 3D, I have to go. It's just a thing now. Normally I am against 3D movies because, it's a gimmick, nothing more, nothing less. However, this is one of the few movies I would go see in 3D. Solely for the fact that this, in my opinion, is the type of film that would benefit immensely from the 3D gimmick, if done properly. And the one reason why I would go see this movie in 3D is that it is being shot in it was shot in 3D.
Right.
It was not shot in 2D and gone through some shitty post-production conversion process. This was shot for the strict purposes of 3D, which, I am more inclined to go see a movie in 3D if it was shot for 3D, like Jackass 3D, or Saw 3D.
Lovely.
Yeah, I have to stop that now.
Yes, you do.
Because my screen's getting all fuzzy now. But yeah, okay. If a movie is shot in a setup for 3D, I will go watch it. If I can visually take it, because I can only take so many 3D movies before I start getting massive migraines.
Yeah. I can't remember. I know in our last podcast we talked about the last Underworld movie, which was, I'm pretty sure that had to have been shot in 3D. I know I saw it in 3D. The 3D is really effective. I don't think I personally like it that much. Because it does make me kind of dizzy, and like there was this one bit where I guess technically it's pretty cool, but there was this one bit where like someone's in the camera's in a car and someone smashes the windshield.
Oh.
And I really felt like there were pieces of glass flying at my face. And I actually kind of turned my head away and kind of went, ugh. Because I swear to God, it really had that effect. But I guess technically that's cool, but I didn't really like it.
But yeah, I mean, the only movie I've seen in 3D recently was the Avengers, and that was when I was in Canada, and it was either see it in English in 3D or see it in French in 2D. Right. So. But
yeah, getting back to the trailer, I actually found it kind of underwhelming, yeah. But. I will admit one thing, though. It has both main characters in it. Mm-hmm. So, and I knew going into it that they were the main characters, so obviously no one was going to die. Yeah. So, maybe, I will admit, maybe that's why it didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, here we go with the nurses again. Oh, they move and he moves. Okay, whatever. Oh, okay, gurney cam, whatever. Pretty much my reaction while watching it. But I think they probably should have picked a better clip. Actually... Like I think I said earlier, there were 2 clips shown at Comic-Con, and the article I read that linked to the clip with the nurses, it mentioned the other clip, and apparently it involved some giant like creature that looked like a big spider, and its legs looked like mannequin legs or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did they pick the freaking nurse clip to put all over the internet? Why not show us that? Because that actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons I am going to go see this movie, 2 words. Oh, no, 3 words. Malcolm fucking McDowell.
Yeah, I will admit, him playing...
a crazy bastard playing a crazy bastard. That is awesome.
I will admit that him playing Leonard Wolf does sound pretty cool, at least in theory. I'm sure they'll find a way to screw it up, but...
Oh, yeah.
I'm obviously very disheartened about what they did to Vincent, because
somebody's jaded.
Well, I love Vincent. Okay, he's actually Vincent and Claudia are probably 2 of my favorite characters in the whole Silent Hill universe. So, like Vincent is such a good character. Why would you take that and slap that name on some teenage love interest? It's just like what?
I sincerely hope they don't try to do a love interest thing with Heather and Vincent, because that will just be a...
I think I read somewhere that they were, but I could be remembering wrong. It may have been, or maybe it's someone's opinion. I can't remember where I read it. So
if they do, Lionsgate will just have a big betrayal on their hands.
Save that kind of thing for fan fiction.
I know, yeah. I mean, bad fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's like I can't tell you what happens, but it involves Heather, Vincent, and Pyramid Head. Oh my God, no. But yeah, the big reason why I think that this will at least be better than the shit-tastic first movie is that neither the director or writer of the first one is involved in any way.
That's very true. That was one of the things that made me kind of gave me a little bit of hope in the beginning.
Yeah.
But of course, we're also having like, Rose and Dahlia and Pyramid Head from the first movie showing up. So I don't know. I already have a feeling, for one thing, that's like too many characters to include.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just be in flashbacks or something. I don't know. But that's already too many characters. You don't want too many characters in a Silent Hill story.
Oh, so Pyramid Head is going to be in there?
Yeah.
Oh God.
There's a screenshot from the movie somewhere that shows Pyramid Head.
No.
I think it was confirmed at some point. Yeah.
And this is also what kind of pisses me off too. If you go to the IMDb page, they do a major spoiler just in the casting, in my opinion, because Sean Bean is credited as Christopher De Silva, who, as we all know, did so much in the first one. He's also he's credited as Christopher and Harry Mason.
Yeah, well, they were saying that like when the it was first announced. I don't know that that's necessarily a spoiler.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of.
We don't know how supposedly.
I mean, okay, if this gets him to do something in this movie, that's great.
You know what, though? You're right. That is a spoiler, because you aren't supposed to... I mean, with the way Silent Hill 3 worked, you didn't know going into it that Heather was going to turn out... Ooh, spoiler, whatever. You didn't know that Heather was going to turn out to be Alessa. It's something that just, like, maybe an hour into the game, they start hinting at it. That is kind of weird if they're going to... Yeah.
I am looking forward to seeing how if they redo Dahlia Gillespie's character.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Ann Moss as Claudia Wolf, interesting.
Mm.
I don't see it, but interesting. Because when I think of Claudia Wolf, Trinity does not come into mind. It's like, what is she gonna do? Gonna do like a slow motion kick and spin the environment all around her? I don't know. But okay. This is another thing. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Okay. On Wikipedia, they say a man named Harry, portrayed by an unknown actor. Then you go to IMDb and it says Sean Bean, Harry Mason / Christopher De Silva. What the fuck? God! Yes! Jesus Christ in heaven! God! I'm not happy.
Here's the funny part. We first started talking about this segment before we started actually recording it.
Yeah.
Tony's like, yeah, I'm actually pretty positive about this one.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, so much for that, I guess.
Oh god. Okay. Okay, so this is okay, aside from the original director and writer not being a part of this, there is hope for this film, for this potential franchise if they work it right.
Mm.
There is potential here. The only problem is I don't think anybody that's associated with the film knows anything about the game other than glancing at a few gameplay videos, if that. It's just like, oh, this is what Heather looks like. Okay, now we'll make her look 90% like Heather, and then instead of her being a strong female character, we're gonna have her cry every 5 minutes because that'll make her relatable. No, it won't. And again, there's no evidence to the fact that Heather. That I have no doubt that that Heather will be at least a somewhat strong female character in here. Maybe that's just me getting my hopes up, but I want to believe that because the first one. That's one thing I can say about the first one. The female characters in the first one, however badly written, they were strong characters, very much like I don't need no man character type.
Yeah, well, they're kind of going for a sort of girl power thing with the first movie, which I'm gonna rant about that another time. But
I did enjoy. Okay,
that is what they were going for better or for worse.
Yeah. Okay, the actress that played Sybil in the first one. To me, she was one of the better performances, just because, she was such a strong character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, maybe that's just an overabundance of girl power, explosions going on about. But I'm sorry, the only reason Sean Bean's in there was because of producer...
executive meddling.
Yeah,
they went, hey, there's like nothing but women in this movie, who's our target audience? Stick a man in there.
Yeah, it's just... But I can respect the fact that they're actually basing this more on one of the games. You know, because it's almost supposedly it's going to be almost a direct shot of Silent Hill 3 with some exceptions, like a 20-hour game compressed into 2 hours. You know, shit's going to get lost. But
has there been any word of Douglas being in this movie?
Douglas.
That just hit me because I don't recall ever hearing anything about Doug. I mean, I guess they could leave him out. He wasn't really that important for the story.
Douglas is in the movie.
That's interesting.
Martin Donovan is playing the role of Douglas Cartland, I think it is.
Yeah.
I know nothing about the guy, but
yeah, I was just wondering if Douglas, just if the character was in the movie at all, because I didn't recall. He was like the one character I didn't hear anything about in the the interviews and stuff. And believe it or not, I'm actually not following this movie too much. I'm just sort of ignoring it and hoping it'll go away. So, I know you'd think I'd know everything about this Silent Hill movie coming out, but I'm just sort of,
Yeah, I think after
I'll probably see it just because I know everyone's gonna, it's like 2 hours of hell. I guess it's better than, putting up with everyone bugging me about it, so.
Yeah. Probably there's probably the one character I'm least looking forward to seeing coming back is Rose.
Yeah.
Because, made up character, doesn't belong there. No reason for her to be there.
Yeah, I'm a little worried they're going to try to pull that whole girl power thing again that they pulled in the first movie, because,
Well, with this one, I could see it actually working, because if it's in with the Silent Hill premise, or the Silent Hill world, that would be something that I could get more behind with, because Heather, is a very strong, don't take no shit character. That doesn't mean that she can't have her soft moments, but still, she's a very strong character.
Yeah, but she also has a really awesome dad that the first movie didn't give a shit about, and I'm just a little bit worried history is going to repeat itself there. I was really happy when, Harry Mason's going to be in this movie. Maybe they'll finally, do something with him and make him interesting and actually,
To be fair, they could still... I think that they could still turn this around. I think Sean Bean, even though he was only in there because of executive producer meddling, he's a very good actor, and I think that he could... Granted, he's not the ideal person when I think of a movie version of Harry Mason, but he's definitely somebody that I could see pulling it off.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about it myself, but I know a lot of people have said that, they should have had him play Harry Mason. He would have been really good at that. So you're not the first person to say that.
I'm still really pissed off about them trying to cover up who's playing Harry in Wikipedia. It's just like portrayed by an unknown actor. It's known. And then at the bottom of the Wikipedia page, it's like, oh, check out the cast list of Silent Hill Revelation at IMDb. First one there, Sean Bean, Harry Mason / Christopher De Silva. Oh God.
Drop the ball on that one.
Exactly.
Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.
I keep planning on seeing it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this because I had this long tirade typed out about the gate.
Sorry.
And you keep interrupting me, and I have to... Okay, getting back to the gate again.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.